called them thieves and robbers. So when Jesus says, I am the gate, he's trying to distinguish that he knows who is the real shepherd and who are those who are coming to steal and rob the flock. But that brings us to a very important question. Are thieves and robbers the same thing? And in Scripture, they are not. When used in Greek, they have two different meanings. You see, the Greek word for thief is kleptes, or klepto, which we kind of get the whole idea of somebody stealing things and hoarding them. You see, kleptes is a thief who comes in to steal by stealth. They secretly come in by other ways. They try and use their cunning. They prefer not to use violence. They want to take their time. They want to get in. They want to poke about. And they don't want to get caught when they go in or go out of wherever they're going. They try to do this through a number of means, through lies, deception, and disguises. They don't want to be noticed. They just want to worm their way in. Do what they need to do and then try and get out with whatever they can get away with. Usually when a thief approaches, they come from a well-known direction. Rather, they tend to make their own path or road to wherever they're trying to get to. As mentioned before, when it comes to the sheep pen, they want to try to go over the wall. They may try to go under the wall. They may try to go through the wall. Anything but going through the gate, because they don't want to be confronted by the gatekeeper. So they'll try other things. And so the purpose of the gate is that it will let us know who the true shepherd is and who are the false shepherds. To let us know the shepherd from the thief. The second word that Jesus used is robber, which in the Greek is lestes, which is someone who is okay with stealing out in the open. But they like to steal by using violence. They like to plunder and pillage. They're willing to murder if need be. They prefer to exploit the vulnerable without hesitating to use violence against them. The robber uses violence as a means to get what they want. Now, what do they have in common? What does the thief and robber have in common besides that they get what they want? The terms thieves and robbers is often used in scriptures to describe false teachers. False teachers are those who do not care to instruct people, but rather abuse the confidence of the people for their own gain. And so Jesus is talking to the Pharisees. And he says, I am the gate. And they didn't understand what he was saying because he was telling them that you are the false teachers. You have not entered through the gate. You have come by other means. You have made your own way. We see this in Ezekiel 13:9 where the prophet says, my hand will be against the prophets who see false visions and utter lying divinations. They will not belong to the council of my people or be listed in the records of Israel, nor will they enter the land of Israel. Then they will know that I am the sovereign Lord. Or Jeremiah 23:16. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Do not listen to what the prophets are prophesying to you. They fill you with false hopes. They speak visions from their own minds, not from the mouth of the Lord. And this is what the Pharisees are doing. So when the prophet Ezekiel and Jeremiah are talking about ignoring the false prophets, the false teachers, Jesus is pretty much telling the Pharisees, you are the false teachers. The people of Israel have been warned against such things, and yet they have developed a habit of following the false teachers. They have fallen away. They have fallen for other things. They have fallen for other gods throughout their history. You see, Jesus was not just trying to tell the Pharisees that they're the false teachers. He was also warning those who were listening about those who did not come through the gate. And Jesus warned his disciples and those who were following him on numerous occasions about the Pharisees. Matthew 7:15, watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. Or Matthew 24:24, for false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. You have to understand that the Pharisees had self-positioned themselves as the leaders of the people of God. The Pharisees became the rulers over the people, and they controlled what the people of God did. They would go so far as to measure out a tenth of everything for the tithes. They're the ones who were constantly interpreting the law, and they even brought the woman caught in adultery to Jesus. But yet, we always ask the question, where's the man? For you see, they had been poor shepherds. They were thieves and robbers. They used trickery when they could. And if that could not get them what they wanted, it would result to be using violence to maintain their position. They abused the people. And yet, Jesus didn't have nice things to say about the Pharisees. Jesus in Matthew 16:11-12 said, how is it that you fail to understand that I did not speak about bread? Because of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Then they understood that he did not tell them to be aware of the leavened bread, but of the teaching of the Pharisees and Sadducees. So Jesus is telling his disciples that, hey, false teachers are coming. And how do you know if they're a false teacher? Well, they don't go through the gate. Because I am. And so how do you know if they're not the true shepherd? And again, Jesus really didn't have a whole lot of nice things to say about the Pharisees. Because they had come to steal and rob the people of Israel. And so we have in Matthew 23, Jesus has this, I don't know what a polite way of saying it. He kind of vents about the Pharisees. In Matthew 23, verses 15 and 16, he says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites!